Hello everyone, I am Christian Lasso. Welcome to another video here on our YouTube channel. Today we are with a very special guest. He's our friend Alex, and today we're going to be around Manizales. Manizales, I think is one of the most beautiful cities in Colombia, but I am not a real expert about this city. So Alex lives here, he's from here, so today he's going to give us a city tour through the beautiful city of Manizales.
Hello everyone. Well, today we're just trying to use the first opportunity we have to come to one new part of the city, which is the cable car system. I'm talking about using this opportunity because Manizales, being such a high city in terms of altitude, it rains a lot. So right now it's not raining, we have good weather. It's a good time in the morning, so that's why we're here in the cable car system of Manizales. We're going to show you a little bit of the things that you can see from here. Okay, so what you're seeing there right now is, let's say, one of the poorest neighborhoods in Manizales, which in a way is actually quite good because this, the fact that the poor neighborhoods have access to the cable car system helps them a lot. This cable car is cheap, it's fast, it's really efficient, so it's great that the government decided to do it on these neighborhoods. Just next to Manizales, there is one town called Villa Maria, and that's what you're seeing right now. There is literally just one river called the Chinchina River that separates the city from the town. The local government decided to build one stage, which was only for Manizales. It was used originally only for tourism purposes, but with the time they realized that as a transportation system, it could be used as well. And they decided to build the second stage of the system that went from the bus station to Villa Maria. If Christian is kind enough to show you a little bit of what's happening down there, we are literally flying on top of the Chinchina River. The word Chinchina is an indigenous word that means golden river. That's actually the name of the next town after Villa Maria. So because it was built so close to Manizales, nowadays Villa Maria, let's say, behaves as a neighborhood instead of a separate town. So everybody feels that Villa Maria is another neighborhood belonging to Manizales. Now, connecting this information with the fact of the use of the cable car system, something interesting to know is that before the local government decided to build this stage to connect Manizales with Villa Maria, it used to take, for the people in this town, it used to take 45 or 50 minutes to arrive from the town to downtown Manizales. But with the cable car system, it only takes 15 minutes.
Now we have arrived to another park in Manizales. This is called Parque Carlos. This one is dedicated to a man that was known as the wise man, Mr. Francisco José de Caldas, who was actually part of the independence process in Colombia. One of the main things to show in this park is the church that you can see behind me. It's the famous Church of the Immaculate Conception, or La Iglesia de la Inmaculada Concepción, as we say in Spanish. That church right now is the oldest church that you can find in Manizales. Even though it is the oldest, it was not the first one that was built. The external design is a technique called bareque metalizado, which means that on top of the wooden structure, they put some cement, and then on top of that cement, they put some metallic plates. The design, it's really interesting. It's all made with wood.
El cual, cuando iba a ser entregado a su pasión, voluntariamente aceptada tomó pan, dando gracias, te bendijo, lo partió.
The building that you can see behind me right now is the oldest shopping center that we have in Manizales. Something interesting to say about that building is that it received two different awards at different times, but these awards are contradictory to each other. The first award was the award for the best internal design, which means that you can actually go to the first floor, you start walking from there, and using some ramps that you cannot feel, eventually you arrive to the 6th floor. So that's why they received that award, because it was really interesting. But sadly, at the same time, it received the award for the worst external design. This particular award is called the Attila Award. In this case, it's because even though the building is not ugly per se, it's too modern, and it was built in an area that is full of patrimonial buildings made with Bareke style or even with Republican style. So that's why that building received those two contradictory awards. Now we are in the Bolivar Square, which is basically the main park in the city. Being the main park in the city, it has a bunch of symbols that represent the most important things in the city. First one, the cathedral, which is right behind me right now. In Spanish, it has a really long name. It will be something like Catedral Basílica Metropolitana de Nuestra Señora del Rosario de Manizales. Impossible to translate, but that's how it's called in Spanish. It's really important for us because it was built after we've lost two of our main churches, which were just in that same place. The first church was destroyed by an earthquake, and then after that we had another one which was made with wood, and it was destroyed by a fire. The locals decided to build a new church. According to their own words, was going to be so big and so magnificent that the generations from the future were going to think that they were crazy. We have a statue, the Bolivar statue, which in this case is known as Bolivar Condor. That name is because the statue itself is a combination between Simón Bolívar and the condor from the Andes. Here we are in famous Founders Park in Manizales, or as everybody knows it in Spanish, Parque de los Fundadores. Here in this park, there are several things that reminds us, the founders, about the foundation. Apart from that, we have a couple of really interesting buildings that are part of our local patrimony. So that white building in front was originally built for a school called Colegio de Cristo. But with the time, they decided to change that, and now it works as the popular school Liceo Isabel la Católica. The building itself is really important for our local patrimony because it was one of the first buildings that was built using the Republican style. The building next to it, which is covered with yellow marble, when you look at it nowadays, there is not much to say about it in terms of the style or the architecture, but in terms of history, it's extremely important because back in 1960, because of that building, the big department of El Gran Caldas, or the Green Butterfly, was divided. Before 1960, in this region, we used to have a big department called El Gran Caldas, but when Manizales, as the capital, decided to build that building and started telling everybody that it was going to be the most beautiful and modern opera theater in those days, the city of Pereira became angry. Let's say in a way they became a little bit envious, and they started asking, why don't you build that building here in Pereira? And Manizales just said, no, I'm sorry, this is the capital, so we're going to build it here. After 1961, when they actually started building it, Pereira was so angry that they decided to call a bunch of towns and created their own department. So that's how they called 14 towns and created Risaralda. And then almost at the same time, the city of Armenia called 12 towns and created the department of Quindío. So that's why that building is so important. The big department was divided because of that building. From here, you can see a group of mountains which are really important for us. The first one to the right is called Cerro San Cancio. The locals will call it Morro San Cancio. And why is it so important? Easy, because in 1843, when the first man coming from Antioquia, the first colonizer, when he arrived to this region, it was in that mountain where he decided to build his first house. He decided to stay there. He actually was the one that gave the name to that mountain. He decided to call it Cerro San Cancio because when he checked his calendar, that was the day of the Saint San Juan Cancio. So that's why the mountain has that name. Okay, my friends, so this will be all for today. We decided to come to this part of the city, which is actually the highest. It's a place called Chipre, like the island in the Mediterranean Sea, Cyprus. This is the perfect landscape to say goodbye, to say thanks for watching us. And remember, whatever you need in the coffee region, whatever you need in Colombia, just give us a shout. You know, you have Christian Lasso, you have Alex Rodriguez here. Whatever you need, we will help you. As long as what you want to do is legal, we will help you with it, all right? Keep that in mind and see you soon.